Have you ever felt like you don't belong anywhere anymore? Like the world you once knew, its sounds, its pace, its people suddenly became too loud, too sharp, too far away. You still wake up in the same room, in the same bed, surrounded by the same walls, but somehow something invisible has shifted. It's like your soul quietly packed its bags and started walking toward another frequency, and your body is just now realizing it's been left standing in the echo of an old life. Everything that used to make sense feels hollow now. The conversations, the ambitions, even the things you used to love. They've lost their color. It's not depression, not exactly. It's a strange kind of emptiness. A pause between breaths that no one else seems to notice. You try to explain it, but words collapse the moment you speak them, so you smile, you nod, you go through the motions while inside something ancient is whispering, "This isn't your home anymore." And yet, you haven't arrived anywhere new. You're floating between timelines, too awakened for the old world, too uncertain for the new one. It feels like being suspended between two realities. The one your body still occupies, and the one your soul already belongs to. There's a quiet ache that lives here, a longing without direction, a mourning without a death. You grieve things you can't even name, people you haven't lost, yet somehow you've already said goodbye to them in your heart. You miss yourself. The version who used to find comfort in the noise, who believed the world worked the way everyone said it did. But that version of you has dissolved, hasn't it? Gone not with a crash, but with a sigh, like a wave retreating into a larger sea. And so you wander through your days half-rooted in two worlds, half here, half somewhere else. You feel time stretching and folding. Moments feel slower, then suddenly disappear. The edges of your reality blur. You begin to notice patterns, synchronicities, whispers from the unseen. Numbers that repeat. Dreams that bleed into waking life. The hum of something bigger just behind the veil. Sometimes you wonder if you're going crazy, but deep down, a softer truth rises. You're not falling apart. You're falling open. This is what it feels like when your frequency changes. When the life that once matched your vibration begins to drift away. You are not being punished. You are being recalibrated. The discomfort is not a mistake. It's a sign that your soul is expanding faster than your world can keep up. You are outgrowing the frequency of your former self. And like all transitions, it's messy. There's static between channels. You can still hear the old song playing faintly behind you, but your heart is already tuning to a new one. It's tempting to run back, to cling to the familiar, to the safety of the known, even if it no longer fits. But something in you refuses. It's as if an invisible hand keeps turning you toward the horizon. Toward what you can't yet name but can somehow feel. You can sense it, can't you? The subtle pull of what's next, the quiet magnetism of a life that hasn't yet formed. You stand at the threshold, trembling. Behind you, the comfort of your history, before you, the vast, luminous unknown. And right here in this in-between space is where most people give up. They mistake the silence for absence. They call the waiting failure. They assume the stillness means nothing's happening. But something is happening. Something profound. Underneath the noise of your thoughts, your energy is rearranging itself. Your perception is learning to see beyond the visible. Your cells are remembering the rhythm of the cosmos. This ache you feel, it's the sound of your old frequency collapsing. It's the quantum echo of a timeline ending. You're not broken. You're just between signals, between who you were and who you're becoming. There are nights when you'll want to disappear, to crawl out of your own skin, to make the confusion stop. But if you can, just pause. Place your hand over your heart. Listen. Underneath the restlessness, there's a pulse that's steady and sure. It's the rhythm of your becoming, the vibration of something vast and gentle carrying you through this liminal space. Don't rush this part. This is sacred ground. This is where your old self dies with grace and your new self is conceived in silence. It's not the end. It's the bridge. And the ache you feel, it's the sound of construction, the universe building a new reality around your upgraded frequency. So breathe. Let the old world fade without guilt. Let the new world call you without fear. You don't have to choose yet. You don't have to know what comes next. All you need to do is stay awake in the middle. Let this in-between be your temple. Let the confusion soften you. Let the uncertainty teach you how to trust again. Because one day soon you'll look back on this season and realize it wasn't a breakdown. It was a breakthrough disguised as stillness. You were never lost. You were simply between worlds, learning how to become the bridge, and maybe, just maybe, this ache you feel right now is not your ending, but the first vibration of your awakening. You've probably noticed it by now. The strange sensations, the quiet rewiring happening underneath the surface of your life. Things you can't quite explain, but you feel them. Like the world is still spinning, but you're no longer moving with it at the same speed. You wake up one morning and realize you don't want what you used to want. The goals that once fueled you now feel flat. The conversations you used to enjoy seem heavy, rehearsed, almost hollow. It's as if someone turned the volume down on the old reality. And no matter how hard you try, you can't turn it back up. You crave quiet now. Not the kind of silence that's empty, but the kind that feels like medicine. You cancel plans. You withdraw, not because you don't care, but because your system can't handle the noise anymore. Your energy is selective now. It knows where it wants to go, and it refuses to waste itself on things that don't match your frequency. Some days you feel weightless, clear, expanded, untouchable. Other days you feel like gravity tripled overnight, and even breathing takes effort. Your emotions swing between deep peace and deep confusion, and it doesn't seem to make sense. Until you realize you're oscillating between dimensions, between the you that's dissolving and the you that's emerging. Time starts to behave differently, too. It stretches, it collapses. Some days move like liquid, others vanish completely. You'll think of someone and seconds later they'll message you. You'll dream of an event before it happens. You'll start seeing repeating numbers, strange alignments, glimpses of meaning hidden in ordinary moments. It's not coincidence, it's coherence. The field adjusting itself around your new vibration. You may also notice that your relationships begin to shift. People who once felt like home now feel distant, almost invisible. Their words fall flat, their energy feels foreign. And yet, out of nowhere, new connections appear. People who speak a language you didn't even know you were fluent in. You feel seen in ways you've never felt before, understood without having to explain yourself. These are not accidents. They're soul alignments, markers on your new map. The in-between makes it hard to explain what's happening. How do you tell someone you're dissolving timelines, that you can feel the old you fading like static? that your nervous system buzzes when someone lies, or that you can sense truth in silence. So instead, you stay quiet. You let them think you're distant, distracted, while inside your consciousness is learning a new language. The language of energy. There will be days when you doubt yourself, when the world tells you you're lazy, lost, or strange, when your mind screams, "Go back, be normal again." But your soul just smiles because it knows there's no way back. Once you start resonating at a new frequency, the old one can't hold you anymore. You're like a note that no longer fits the chord it used to play in. And that's okay. You're not supposed to harmonize with who you used to be. So if you've been feeling disconnected, disinterested, disoriented, don't panic. You're not broken. You're being fine-tuned. Every discomfort, every wave of uncertainty is your body trying to synchronize with your higher field. You're not losing your spark. You're shedding static. You're not falling apart. You're being reassembled in a higher rhythm. The numbness you feel, it's not emptiness, it's space, created for the new codes to anchor. The hypersensitivity, that's your expanded perception turning on. The solitude you crave, that's your soul protecting the download. What if this isn't chaos at all? What if this is physics, the physics of evolution? What if what you're feeling isn't confusion but calibration? You're not lost, my friend. You're just between frequencies, where everything feels foreign because it hasn't settled yet. The old has ended, the new is forming, and you are the bridge between them. So the next time you catch yourself wondering, why does everything feel off? Remember this. It's not off. It's aligning. The symphony is just tuning before it begins. And somewhere in the silence between those notes, the universe is whispering. Stay. Don't rush. You're exactly where you're meant to be. So what if this isn't chaos at all? What if what you're feeling, the stillness, the confusion, the endless in-between, isn't a breakdown, but a recalibration? What if this ache that you keep calling lost is actually the hum of your energy field shifting into a new pattern? The quantum field, they say, responds to coherence. It mirrors the frequency you radiate, and when your inner vibration starts to rise, when you stop resonating with fear, with noise, with survival, the old timeline begins to collapse. It's not personal, it's physics. Two frequencies can't occupy the same state, so the universe rearranges itself to match the new signal you're sending. That's why everything feels like it's falling apart. Your world isn't breaking, it's reorganizing. The people fading away, the delays, the silence, they're not punishments. They're the natural dismantling of a frequency that no longer fits the tone of your becoming. Think of it like this. Every version of you exists in a different layer of vibration. The you from last year, last month, last night, each one radiates on a slightly different wavelength. When you start to awaken, you begin shifting faster than the material world can mirror back. There's a gap, a void between your new vibration and your physical reality. That gap is where you are now. Suspended in the chrysalis, the caterpillar doesn't know it's becoming a butterfly. To the caterpillar, everything just feels like dissolving. But from a higher view, nothing is lost. The old form melts so that something luminous can emerge. And the void you're in, it's not emptiness. It's the womb of creation. It's where the quantum field rewrites your code, where new timelines begin to assemble atom by atom around the new frequency you've chosen to embody. You are not stuck. You're softening. You're being rewritten by your own evolution, and that requires silence, integration, stillness. You see, in the quantum world, nothing is truly solid. Reality flickers in and out of existence billions of times per second, appearing, disappearing, reappearing again. It's a constant dance between potential and manifestation, and your consciousness, your focus, is what decides what stays and what dissolves. That's why you can't cling to what's leaving. When your awareness insists on holding what no longer resonates, you create interference. Static, you trap yourself in between waveforms, half in the old, half in the new. That tension, that ache, is just your energy trying to resolve into coherence. The moment you release control, the moment you stop trying to figure it out, the wave collapses, the new pattern emerges. It's not effort that shifts your reality, it's surrender. The physics of transformation is always gentle, but our resistance makes it violent. Every timeline you've ever lived still exists in the field, but you can only occupy one at a time, the one that matches your current vibration. So if your outer world feels delayed, distorted, empty, it's because your inner world has already changed, and the physical plane is simply catching up. You're moving through the energetic buffer zone now, the place where the old signals fade and the new codes haven't fully landed yet. It's like being between radio stations, static noise, fragments of melody, uncomfortable but temporary. Your only job is to stay centered, to hold your vibration steady long enough for reality to crystallize around your new frequency. Imagine you're standing in a dark room. You flip the switch, but the light doesn't appear instantly. There's a microscopic delay between the signal and the illumination. That's where you are now. That's the space between worlds. Your soul has already turned on the light, the body, the mind, the material. They're just taking a moment to catch up. So breathe. Stop labeling this as stuck. You are in transmission. You are broadcasting a new wavelength that your old world simply cannot interpret. That's why it rejects you. That's why it feels like you don't belong. Because you don't. Not there, not anymore. The quantum field doesn't speak words. It speaks resonance. It responds to your tone, not your timeline. So the real question isn't when will it happen, it's what frequency am I being right now? Are you vibrating as fear or trust, as lack or expansion, as resistance or surrender? Because the field doesn't judge, it simply mirrors. If you believe you're lost, it will show you more fog. If you believe you're transforming, it will open new doors so effortlessly you'll think it's magic, but it's not magic, it's mechanics, quantum mechanics. The kind that doesn't happen in labs, but inside your cells, your thoughts, your choices, the science of soul evolution. So yes, the silence you're in has a purpose, the slowness, the space, the pause. It's all part of the recalibration sequence. Your system can't operate at a new frequency until it unlearns the old one. The void isn't your enemy, it's your teacher. It's showing you how to exist without clinging to form, how to trust vibration before evidence, how to let energy lead. So the next time you feel that emptiness again, don't fill it. Don't rush to escape it. Sit inside it, because that's where you'll hear it. The faint hum of creation, the whisper of your new frequency taking shape in silence. And if you listen closely enough, you'll realize something extraordinary. You're not waiting for your new world to appear. It's waiting for you to stabilize, to match its vibration. That's how the bridge builds itself. Not with steps, but with resonance. And once your energy becomes coherent, the old reality simply dissolves. Not because you fought it, but because you outgrew its wavelength. So don't rush this part. This is where the magic happens quietly, in the unseen layers of light. You are not lost in the void. You are the void, and from within it, you are learning how to create worlds. So now you know where you are, between frequencies, between who you were and who you're becoming. And maybe for the first time you realize there's no map for this place, no checklist, no clear direction, just the hum of uncertainty and the slow unfolding of trust. This is the hardest part of awakening, the part where nothing seems to move, where all the doors are half open and time stretches into something elastic and strange. You're not falling backward, but you're not moving forward either. You're just suspended. And every instinct in you wants to do something, to fix it, to push it, to make it make sense. But the truth is, you can't force alignment. You can only allow it. This space you're in isn't asking for effort. It's asking for surrender. You're learning to float. Floating feels unnatural at first. We've been taught to swim, to fight the current, to stay in control. But the river of transformation doesn't respond to effort. The more you thrash, the more you sink. The more you soften, the more the current carries you. This is where trust becomes more than a word. It becomes a practice. A daily act of allowing life to guide you without needing to see the next step. When nothing seems to happen, trust that everything is. When no one understands, trust that understanding is growing inside you. When all you can do is breathe, trust that breathing is enough. You are not being asked to build a new reality overnight. You're being asked to attune to it, slowly, gently, one breath at a time. Each time you choose presence over panic, each time you pause instead of push, you anchor a little more light into your body. And the current begins to recognize you. Because the universe doesn't rush, it synchronizes. It's not delay, it's design. What feels like waiting is actually the field rearranging itself to support your new vibration. Nothing is missing. Nothing is wrong. You're just aligning. Let the pauses be sacred. Let the stillness be your teacher. You don't have to understand every silence. Some silences are there to stretch your trust, to remind you that peace isn't the absence of movement. It's the presence of faith. There will be days when you'll want to grab the old life again. When fear whispers, go back. It was easier there, but you can't unknow what you now know. You can't unfeel the expansion in your chest. You've already outgrown the version of you that survived on control. Now you're learning how to breathe in surrender. It's not weakness, it's quantum navigation, the art of letting the field carry you. When you stop pushing, you start listening. When you stop rushing, you start aligning. When you stop fearing the unknown, you begin to remember that the unknown is home. Think of it like being carried across a river. The water knows the way. Your only job is to stay open, to let your body relax into the current, to trust that even when you can't see the other side, you are being moved. Every pause has purpose. Every detour is a redirection. Every silence hides a synchronization. You are being timed with precision to meet what's meant for you. So stop measuring progress by motion. In the space between worlds, stillness is movement. Integration is creation. Rest is recalibration. Close your eyes for a moment. Feel your heartbeat. That rhythm. It's the universe reminding you that you're still connected to everything, that no matter how still your life seems on the surface, underneath the current is alive, rearranging atoms, aligning events, preparing bridges. This is how new realities are born, quietly, invisibly, perfectly on time. So instead of asking, when will it happen, ask, how deeply can I trust while it's happening? Instead of trying to predict the next chapter, let this moment write you. Let it sculpt your patience, your intuition, your grace. Because when you float long enough, you start to feel the rhythm beneath the water. You start to sense the invisible guidance that's been steering you all along. You begin to realize that surrender isn't giving up control. It's remembering that you never needed it in the first place. You're being carried, always have been, and the current knows exactly where to take you. So breathe again. Inhale the unknown. Exhale the need to figure it out. Let your body remember the language of trust. Because one day soon the current will slow, the fog will thin, and you'll find yourself standing on new ground. Not because you fought your way there, but because you learned how to float. And that is the quiet mastery of transformation. The art of being still while everything changes. The sacred balance between surrender and becoming. You're not drifting aimlessly, my friend. You're being carried home. There comes a moment, quiet and unannounced, when the fog begins to thin. You look around and realize you're still here. The world didn't vanish. You didn't disappear. You just see differently now. Colors feel deeper, sounds softer. Even ordinary things, the steam rising from your coffee, the morning light on your skin, carry a quiet holiness. It's not that life became easier. It's that you became more present. You've stopped trying to escape the world and started to see the sacred woven through it. This is integration. The point where awakening stops being a concept and starts being a way of moving through reality. You realize the journey was never about leaving the material world behind. It was about remembering how to bring light into it. You are no longer trying to climb out of your humanness. You are learning to let divinity live through it. The bridge between worlds isn't some distant realm of perfection. It's built right here, in how you speak, how you love, how you listen, how you show up when no one's watching. You've spent so long chasing transcendence that you forgot awakening is not an escape from form. It's a reunion with it. To be fully awake is to see the divine in the details, the grocery store clerk, the traffic jam, the tear in someone's voice when they say, "I'm trying." It's all the universe in disguise. You start to realize that the new frequency was never meant to replace the old world. It was meant to infuse it. You become the meeting point. The harmony between the infinite and the finite, the sky and the soil. You are the bridge. And being the bridge means holding paradox with grace. You can feel the world's pain without drowning in it. You can touch the collective grief without letting it steal your peace. You can walk through chaos and still emanate calm, not because you're detached, but because you've remembered what's real. Your heart becomes your compass now. You no longer ask, "What should I do?" You ask, "What feels coherent? What feels alive?" You start to notice that when your actions come from love, the universe moves differently. Effortless, fluid, magnetic. Synchronicities multiply. Opportunities flow, people show up at the perfect moment. It's not luck, it's resonance. Every choice made in coherence sends ripples through the field. Each time you act from presence instead of fear, you stabilize the bridge between worlds. You turn everyday existence into an instrument of light. It's not about rejecting your past self either. The one who struggled, who doubted, who fell apart. They were sacred too. They were the foundation of this bridge. Without their chaos, you would never have found your stillness. Without their confusion, you would never have known clarity. So honor them. Honor the version of you who fought to survive, who didn't yet know that peace was possible. Don't erase them, integrate them. Let your new awareness hold your old pain with compassion. That's what coherence really is, not perfection, but inclusion. You stop dividing your life into spiritual and ordinary. You stop chasing enlightenment as a destination. You start embodying it in the way you cook, in the way you laugh, in the way you forgive. Every breath becomes a prayer. Every act becomes ceremony. Because the new world you've been longing for isn't somewhere out there. It begins inside you. It begins the moment you choose to respond with presence instead of reaction. The moment you look at someone's anger and see their unspoken pain. The moment you choose to stay soft in a world that celebrates hardness. You are not here to escape matter. You're here to enlighten it, to bring heaven into motion, not as an idea, but as a daily practice. Integration is the quiet revolution. It's the merging of human and divine. It's where consciousness stops floating and finally lands. In the body, in the now, in love. This is what becoming the bridge really means. To live between frequencies without splitting yourself apart. To carry stillness into motion, light into form, presence into everything you touch. And maybe for the first time you start to feel whole again. Not because the world changed, but because you did. You stopped resisting the paradox and realized you are the paradox, the infinite playing as the finite, the wave remembering it's also the ocean, so walk gently now. Bring the light with you. Let your life be the evidence that awakening can look like laughter, like tears, like ordinary moments lived with extraordinary awareness. Because when you stop fighting the in-between, when you accept that you were never meant to arrive, something miraculous happens. You begin to shine from the center of it all. You are no longer standing on the bridge. You are the bridge, and every step you take connects heaven and earth a little more. There comes a day, quiet, almost invisible, when the bridge you've been walking on begins to dissolve beneath your feet. And for the first time, you're not afraid. You look down and realize you're no longer standing between worlds. You are the world. You are the space, the silence, the song. You've become the frequency you were trying so hard to reach. There's no lightning strike, no sudden fanfare, no choir of angels announcing your arrival. It's softer than that. It's the sound of peace returning to your bones. The stillness no longer feels empty. It feels alive. Every breath hums with purpose. Every cell glows with memory. You've remembered the truth hidden beneath all the seeking. You were never meant to escape this world. You were meant to illuminate it. You begin to see it everywhere, the pulse of life moving through all things. The breeze on your skin, the laughter of a stranger, the rhythm of footsteps on pavement. They're all part of the same vibration. You used to think you were separate. Now you can't find the line that divides you from anything. This is what arrival feels like, not the end of the journey, but the disappearance of the need to travel. Because you realize you never had to get there. You were always there. just vibrating too fast to notice. The noise of the old world fades into a gentle hum, and the stillness begins to speak. It doesn't shout, it whispers. And the whisper says, "Welcome home, traveler between worlds." You stand in awe, not because the world has changed, but because you can finally see it, clear, raw, radiant. Every person you meet is a mirror. Every challenge is a teacher. Every moment sacred. You no longer ask, "Why me?" You ask, "What is this showing me?" And the answers come, not as thoughts, but as knowing. The fear that once ruled your choices dissolves. The need to prove, to chase, to control, gone like smoke carried by the wind. What remains is presence, the simple, quiet joy of being alive. You realize that heaven was never somewhere above you. It's been here all along, woven through the smallest details. Heaven is the way sunlight lands on your hands. It's the warmth of your breath on a cold morning. It's the moment you forgive yourself for ever forgetting who you are. You are not the seeker anymore. You are the frequency being sought. The bridge has disappeared because you've become it. You are both the wave and the shore, both the question and the answer, both the silence and the sound. And as this truth settles into your body, something inside exhales. The war within ends. The ache of becoming transforms into a quiet belonging. You don't need to prove your worth to the universe. You are the universe expressing itself as you. Now, when you wake, you don't rush to fill the space. You let the morning hold you. You listen to the hum of life beneath the noise. And when challenges come, and they will, you no longer resist them. You meet them from stillness, and stillness rearranges reality for you. Because once you know your nature, the world bends to match it. You move through life with grace now, not because it's perfect, but because you are present within it. You speak slower, feel deeper, love wider. You no longer try to shine, you simply are light. And maybe one night you'll find yourself looking up at the sky, realizing that the stars don't feel distant anymore. They feel familiar. They feel like home. Because somewhere in the silence between them you recognize yourself. You'll smile. Not the kind of smile the world expects, but the kind that rises from the soul, soft and infinite, because you'll understand it at last. You never left the divine, you just forgot how to see it in human form. The journey between worlds was never about reaching somewhere new. It was about remembering what you've always been, a being of light, learning how to dance inside matter, how to feel the divine through the weight of skin and time. And now, you do. The bridge is gone. The fog has lifted. The ache is silent. And in its place, only peace. Not the peace that hides from life, but the peace that breathes through it. The peace that moves through you as creation itself. You are not between worlds anymore. You are the meeting point of all of them. You are the melody between heartbeats, the spark between atoms, the consciousness that dreamed itself awake. So if this message found you between worlds, share it. Someone else is crossing too. And maybe your light will remind them that there is no such thing as lost. Only becoming. Only remembering. Only love in motion. Welcome home.